Hey guys, how's it going? Ricky here from Most Valuable Podcast, here to bring you our MVP college football top 25 for week 3 following the thrilling games that went on this past week in week 2. And if you're new to the top 25, this is how we do things. Brandon Swanson and myself come up with our own top 25s. We assort point values. For example, number 1 is 25 points. Number 25 is 1. Based on where we rank teams, we add the numbers together, and that spits out the top 25 that you are about to see in this video. And let's get right into it. Going in increments of 5, so 25 through 21. In this part of the rankings, we have a lot of new faces this week. As number 25, the Toledo Rockets show their great faces. We have 24, the Utes of Utah, 23, the Wildcats from Northwestern, 22, Wisconsin, and number 21, BYU. If I'm not mistaken, all of these teams were not ranked last week in our top 25, and the two that stick out, obviously Toledo, beating Arkansas, who were ranked in both the top 25 and our top 25. They obviously fall because Toledo beat them. A thrilling game. What a win for the Rockets, beating an SEC opponent. And then you got BYU. Many people thought, Brandon being one of them, that BYU, they couldn't do it. They couldn't upset another team, another ranked opponent, just like Toledo did. BYU getting the last-second victory over Boise State. Boise State finds their way out of the rankings this week, and finding themselves in is the BYU Cougars. So let's move on. 20 through 16. And coming in right from bottom to top, the Missouri Tigers, the Auburn Tigers, the Arizona Wildcats, Texas A&M Aggies coming in at 17. And then at 16, the Oklahoma Sooners. And you kind of got a yin and yang thing going for this section of the rankings. I'm going to start with the good, Oklahoma. They come in, there were a lot of people, Paul Feinbaum of ESPN being one of them, kind of bashing the Sooners going into this game. Oh, the Sooners the best days are behind them. They're not going to win at Rocky Top. Tennessee's going to win this game. And I'll be honest, coming into week 2, I almost picked Tennessee myself, but stuck to my guns and went with the Sooners of Oklahoma. It was a good thing because Oklahoma pulls out the double overtime win. Quarterback looked terrible in the first 3 quarters, pulled it together in the fourth and overtime to overcome a 17-0 deficit. Now, Tennessee under Butch Jones, I believe they are now 13-2 under Butch when leading at halftime. Tennessee obviously finds their way out of the rankings this week. The bad for this section, Auburn. Jacksonville State, are you kidding me? And when I saw this game go to overtime and Auburn need a last-second touchdown to tie the game and then beat them in overtime, the first thing I thought is, I can't remember who it was, we had a commenter on our SEC podcast say, you shouldn't overlook Jackson State because they're an FCS team. You shouldn't overlook them. And I kind of laughed because it's like, okay, come on. Does every FCS team think that they're Appalachian State? But yeah, the Tigers with a shocker falling in our rankings, coming down to number 19 for week 3. And it may not be a good season if Auburn continues to play the way they did last week. So let's move on to the next section. Coming in at 15, we have the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Number 14, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 13, the LSU Tigers. Number 12, the Clemson Tigers. And at number 11, the Ole Miss Rebels. And kind of a yin and yang here too, where I'm going to start with the bad this time. Notre Dame, they get the win. They needed a last-second touchdown to beat the Virginia Cavaliers. However, Malik Zaire, he's done. He has a broken ankle, will be out for the season. So Notre Dame falls this week. The reason I had them falling in my personal top 25 is Virginia wasn't that strong of an opponent. Come on, you needed a last-second touchdown to beat these guys? Really? Really? that's why Notre Dame, to me, had to fall. I mean, Malik Zaire, that's a huge crush, and I know I believe he's a freshman quarterback, winning the game like he did. It's got to kind of maybe balance it out, but for me, the first is kind of the worst, and you should have beat Virginia by a better score. So Notre Dame falling. Then you got LSU, first game of the year, coming out, beating Mississippi State in Starksville. Great win for the Tigers. I told you guys that they would be pumped to play in this game. They were itching to play some football after getting canceled in week 1. So that is our 15 through 11. Let's go to the next 5. At number 10, the Florida State Seminoles. Number 9, same amount of points, the UCLA Bruins. Number 8, a team that lost this past week. Close game, but they lost, the Oregon Ducks. Number 7, the Georgia Bulldogs. And number 6, the USC Trojans. And really the big team out of this group of teams is got to be Oregon, because, I mean, it was going to be a close game. It was going to be a tough game. Michigan State, Oregon. And Oregon's got to fall. They fall out of the top 25, or out of the top five in our top 25, pardon me. And the thing is me personally, I couldn't have Oregon fall out of the top 10. Only because Michigan State was a top 10 foe, and Michigan State's a good team. They played them tough all the way to the end. They didn't get blown out. So for me, Oregon could maybe bounce back from this. They could look at Ohio State last year. Ohio State lost the first game of the season to Virginia Tech, who wasn't even ranked, and then ran the gauntlet to beat Oregon in the national championship game. So Duck fans, do not fret. Your season is not over, but it is on a very, very thin line. And the other teams in this, UCLA, we'll see if they can overcome the BYU hotshot Hail Mary and Cougars of Utah. We'll see if they can beat that team. USC, just another solid win. Same for Georgia. And then the top 5. A little bit of change here because Oregon fell out. We have at number 5, the Baylor Bears. Number 4, the Michigan State Spartans. Number 3, TCU. Number 2, the Alabama Crimson Tide. And then they beat Hawaii. They stay at number 1. 2 number 1 votes from me and Brandon, the Ohio State Buckeyes. And the only question here was, how much does Michigan State move up for beating Oregon? Do they jump TCU? Do they jump Alabama? Are they a top 2 team? The way I see it is they had the chance to jump TCU if the TCU score was a little closer. TCU blew out their who nobody cares who they are team that they played. I believe they won 70-3 in that contest. No way was Michigan State going to jump Ohio State or Alabama if they won this week. So Michigan State jumping a few spots, getting in at number 4 in our top 5, as you can see over here. Ohio State, Alabama, TCU, Michigan State, and the Baylor Bears. So that's going to do it for our top 25 here for Most Valuable Podcast, the week 3 top 25 after the week 2 games. Tell us down below, what you think of our top 25. Are there teams that we are missing this week? Teams that should have been in that weren't? Did we have teams that fell? Arkansas, Tennessee, 2, for example, that fell out of the rankings that should not have. Where would you have Oregon in your top 25? Do they fall out of the top 10 for you? Let me know down below. If you want to, go ahead and list a full top 25. I'd be really interested to see what you guys have to say following week 2 of the college football season. Make sure to tune in this week to Most Valuable Podcast. We're going to have the primetime podcast talking about the Michigan State-Oregon game later this week. We're also going to have Brandon and myself, our picks for week 3 later in the week, so make sure to check those things out. You can follow me on Twitter at Ricky Widmer. Most Valuable Podcast is at Most Valuable Pod. I want to thank you guys for checking out this video today, and as always, have a good day, everybody. Hey guys, like the video? Then hit that subscribe button. But if you liked it even more, you should check out our Patreon page. We have a lot of different rewards and goals for those of you who would love to support us. So make sure to click that link down in the description to check out those pretty kick-ass rewards.